This episode of Philly Sports Now gets a little heated today, folks, so we apologize for the explicit language, but discretion is advised. The Phillies are indeed fucking dead. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Philly Sports Now, a Philly fan podcast. My name is Zach. With me is Andrew, and we're here to talk all things Philly sports now that the Phillies postseason is officially over after a 4-game series, 3 losses to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yeah, it's not good. I've got here a victory summer love beer to make all the pain go away, because there's no summer love quite like pretending the baseball season mattered. But now here we are, and the postseason is over. The Phillies stunk. They won 1 game. They should have won the first game. They could have won the second game. They did win the third game, and they lost. And I want to say things were going to get shaken up after this postseason, but we already see that that's not really the case. Rob Thompson confirmed to come back for at least 1, if not 2 years. Andrew, correct me on that when you get your chance.
Correct.
It's Rob Thompson confirmed, and I'll be the first one to say it. Andrew and I were not usually the firing squad people, but I think you got to make changes. I really do, and I think the first change would have been to. I don't see it so much as firing, but I kind of do, I guess. Fire Rob Thompson, and I'm going to throw this crazy hat out there. I don't think you re-sign Kyle Schwarber. I loved him. I loved everything he brought to this city. I don't want to. Do you have news? Breaking news?
No, I need to get you on record. I need to pinpoint you here. You wouldn't re-sign Schwarber, or you don't think the team does? Two different things.
I would not, and I'll say why. I
want to clear that up.
Because I love him. Like I truly would still get his jersey right now. Like absolutely, I want him on this team. But I think the team needs to be shaken up. I think they're too comfortable. There is no statistical explanation to why this team lost the way they did. I mean, the Dodgers are that good. 100%. They're ruining the Brewers right now. I forget I don't have the exact, but I know they're just absolutely demolishing them. The NLDS was a World Series level matchup. It really was. But to have our A squad, our A team, go and lose just in the way they did. Again, as I said in the last podcast, not hitting the fucking ball. Like, you got to make changes. You got to make changes, and you can't just stick with the comfort of home, is I think the best way to put it. And I think letting Schwarber walk is a statement. Again, love him. Love what he brought to the city. Dancing on my own forever. But like, I think you need to make changes, and I think it started with Rob Thompson, and then it goes to letting Schwarber walk. The fact that Rob is still here, I think there's a good chance we do re-sign Schwarber. I actually do think that's very likely at this point. There's rumors from Ruben that a major contract is going to be off-lifted. Although what does Ruben think a major contract is? Is it a Turner level contract, or is it a Bohm level contract? Like, Bohm doesn't have the highest paying salary, but it's a major contract in the fact that he was the 4th member of the lineup every game in the postseason. Like, I'm very curious what he's alluding to there. Some people are saying Nola. I don't think that's gonna happen, but we'll see. I talked about a bunch of things. I'm letting Andrew come in and kind of say what he wants. It's raw emotions after losing the NLDS, and my final thoughts are this team has regressed to a consistent NLD postseason exit, and to not change anything is definition insanity.
Yeah, I agree with you that if you don't change anything, that's crazy. But I think to start with it, while you look at Rob Thompson, we'll start with him because he's the manager. I'm not surprised they're bringing him back. Obviously, on the last podcast, I said, if they didn't come back, I think it is okay to move on from him. I don't think he's that. I think he had a lot of mistakes in that series. I think he lost game 1. I think he arguably lost game 2 as well. I think he got outmanaged. And I think when you look at it,
I mean,
yes, we can
I
look.
gotta say it right there. That should be a firing offense.
Not necessarily.
I just he. I know I talked a lot. I want to let Andrew talk, but to regress the way this team has. Again, World Series is a lightning in a bottle moment. I'm not even including the fact that they made it to the World Series in 2022. But to say they went World Series, NLCS, NLDS, NLDS, I mean, I again, fireable offense. Continue. I'm sorry. I had to say it.
Well, I think if you look at it from their perspective, I mean, you're already on record here in this podcast saying it was a World Series matchup. It was. And I think you look at it, Rob Thompson's won back to back division championships now. He got 96 wins, which is a continued improvement from each of the following year. And you look at it, you look at his argument, right? If he's meeting with Dave after the season, you lose your best starting pitcher due to injury. Your game one, you lose your starting outfielder due to injury. Who knows how that would have played out if you would have had somebody to pitch on for Castellanos, if you would have had defensive replacements. So when you're Rob fighting for your job, you're throwing all that out there. So again, whether I agree with it or not, this is what I think happened there behind the scenes after the game on how he keeps that job. Because yes, you say regress. They regressed in the playoffs in a way, but like overall season, they've actually improved statistically on the season. So that's where he is fighting for his job. So that's why I wasn't surprised when they announced they're bringing him back. I'm more surprised there's no changes on the coaching staff in terms of a Kevin Long, the hitting coach. The pitching's been fantastic, so I'm not surprised you're bringing back Caleb Cotham, the pitching coach there. I thought it was weird they announced instead of, I don't want to say he would have been fired, but it just seemed very odd. Their bench coach, they created a new coaching position for him today. There's a major fielder coordinator, I think is what the position's called, and they're going to be hiring a bench coach. That's the only change to the coaching staff you're going to see. And they said they want to bring somebody in with managerial experience. So that was interesting. So it's almost like, I don't know, is it going to be a young guy waiting in the wings to take over for Rob if he retires? Is it going to be an older guy for a second opinion for Rob because they quote unquote don't trust him now in these situations? So they want a second opinion kind of in there. So I thought that was interesting in terms of that. But again, I'm not surprised Rob's coming back. But in terms of the hitting, I think the core is back, but I think you do see a lot of shakeup. I think they know they can't run it back. I think the entire outfield you're going to see pretty much shaken up in a way. I think Alec Bohm is going to be gone. I think either of Bohm or Stott's going to be gone. Now, which one are they able to move is the question. I think it's going to be.
Real quick interruption. If you could choose, who would you get rid of those two? I agree. One of them has to go to shake things up. Um, who would you?
I would personally go Bohm,
Okay.
and the reason is I think in the middle of that order he's not performed. He talked about it after game two. Correct if I'm wrong. I don't think it was game one, but the pressure, how much that amounts, and basically he was saying he was owning up to it. He couldn't handle the pressure, and I think that's worrisome. And I think Bryson Stott. I think Rob Thompson found a good spot for him in the nine spot in the batting order. It really gave Stott comfortability, familiarity with a constant spot in the order. You saw him pick up his game again and elevate it. And I think he's an above average elite defender. I think that's really where he helps you, especially in the middle of that infield. So I think that's why I'd keep Stott. He's a perfect nine hitter, and he adds a lot of value defensively. So I think that's where you move on from Bohm. I think Castellanos is good as gone. I think Brandon Marsh you could see gone, but
I
more
hope
important,
so. I gotta
not
say,
more
like
importantly,
again,
but
so many of these players, it's I love them. I love what they've done with this. Like every single one of these players are. It's been fun. It really has. But you got to see a change.
yeah. And again, I think those changes are coming. I think Schwarber's back, and I would bring Schwarber back. I think Ranger isn't back, and I think that's a big enough statement to shake it up because of how much Ranger has done for you the last few years. Ranger Suarez, I mean, because he's a free agent. So I think with how much depth you have pitching wise, you can lose Ranger more than you want to lose Kyle because
See, I think that's crazy
the,
because, as you pointed out, I really, at the end of the day, wouldn't change anything about pitching.
well, no, I'm saying you're deep enough where Ranger. I mean, and I say this meaning because he has to give you a full healthy season in forever. So if you're going to move on from a guy, you can't go out in free agency and find a guy that's going to go hit 50 home runs next year and drive in 120 RBIs, lead the MLB in RBIs, And I mean, I get it. Obviously, Pete Alonso is a big name and everything, but you only have so much money to spend, and you're fighting all those other guys. And I think both sides and Schwarber and the Phillies have made it clear it's a priority to kind of find a way to get a deal done. And I think in the end it will happen. And again, I think you can have a big enough shakeup elsewhere. And to your point about Ruben, I mean, yeah, Nick Castellanos could be considered a big contract. He's getting
I,
21
I
million next year. It's only 1 year, but it's still a big contract in the sense of you can't trade him. Right? Well, sorry, you can't trade him and not have to eat any of that money. So if you trade him, you're
yeah.
gonna be paying part of his salary still.
It will be interesting if Casty is the person he was talking about because I don't think that would even have been like worth mentioning. Like everyone's assuming Castellanos is gone. Like in some capacity traded, like yeah, I obviously traded. I don't know
You
what
know,
I'm
here's why it's mentioned real quick
Oh, yeah,
because it
go
gets
for it.
people
Sorry,
to
I was just
people
talking.
it gets people to click on his name, one, and two, it's a broad enough statement
Oh.
where because we just mentioned three different things could
Yeah.
mean a big contract, he's automatically right. Whether it's Alec Boehm being moved, whether it's I mean, it's not going to happen, but whether it's
Th-
Trey Turner being moved or whether it's Nick Castellano, there's no way for Ruben to be wrong in that scenario because you could spin a big contract any way you want it, and it gets other people talking about it.
I will say, as far as like kind of I'm a big shut the fuck up fans guy. I think that's become pretty clear on our podcast. I love calling the fans out and telling them to just shut the fuck up. And I think my my choice for that is getting rid of Trey Turner because I absolutely like Turner absolutely dropped the ball in the postseason. He did not deliver. I think he got one or two hits. I don't have all the stats up today, guys. This is again raw emotions. I think he got one or two hits in the total of the 4 game postseason. Um, but I mean, what was the hitting award he got or whatever? Like
He won the batting
the
title.
batting title. That's what like Trey Turner had an outstanding stellar season. And he didn't deliver in the postseason, which I do think to the rest of the Phillies defense is proof of how good the Dodgers pitching was and defense was. Um however, I gotta say, like if you're looking at the core, he's just not the guy I'm getting rid of. And that's why the next person, right, you talk about is Harper, who's just never gonna not be a Philly for the rest of his career. Like there's just no conversation there, right? I think if he didn't have the contract he has, that conversation would be extremely loud right now because he had such a bland season mixed with a nothing postseason. Oh my God, Harper would have 1 foot out the door according to fans. But he has the craziest contract ever done in Philadelphia, so that's not a possibility. And then that leaves Kyle Schwarber, who had an amazing season, who was going up against home run records. And like I said, and I cannot stress this enough. I I wouldn't get rid of Schwarber because of his abilities. Like again, like I would put him with Turner in the fact that he delivered in the season and he had a chance to deliver in the postseason and didn't. I think you need to shake up the actual top men. And the only one you can logically get rid of is Schwarber is by letting him walk. It's not something I want to do. I think it's the logical choice is the unfortunate truth. Um, let's talk real quick about Harper. I did have a question for you coming into this, and I'm curious. I can't remember what it was, but Harper infamously had a pretty serious injury early this season that took him out for a while. Do we think his bland season and postseason was due to a lingering injury?
Yes and no. Again, I've been on record saying I think his regular season is being a little overstated. I
You
still
mean
went out.
like do you think it's better than people are letting it on to
Correct.
believe?
Correct. I think they're used to extra elite MVP, like
Sure.
big time MVP type
Literally
players.
MVP status.
So I think while his down year, yes, isn't elite status, it was still a very good baseball year. I mean, the guy hit 27 home runs and had 75 RBIs while missing 30 games due to his injury. So hypothetically, you just throw 20 games, right? He plays 20 of those games. He's hitting 30 to 35 home runs. He's getting 90 RBIs. So again, I think his regular season is being a little over exaggerated there, but for sure the playoffs, I think. I mean, again, I'm going to take it outside the injury, I think again, obviously, I'm just speculating, right?
Of
But
course, yeah,
he
totally.
had a
We
he
have
had a
no
new
evidence.
he had a newborn like the day before the playoffs. I think that played in his head. I think the injury played in his head. I mean, I think he just had a lot going on at that time, and I mean, I'm sure it can't be easy just leaving a kid like that and your wife the
And
day after.
baseball might be the most mental tough sport out of the core four sports. Like
Yeah,
to
I mean,
have to go into the postseason not mentally prepared in baseball is easily the hardest one to do. Like in football, you can. I'm not a football player, so yeah, I know my 5'8",
you
five
have your fooled.
like I yeah, I got you guys, but I'm not a football player. But I do believe football, you could essentially turn the brain off a little bit and go into, reactive mode. You know what I mean? Like you're reacting a lot, especially like it's a physical sport. You react, right? Um, hockey and basketball, they're very fast paced. You're moving constantly. You got to be moving constantly, right? I think baseball is the mentally toughest sport. You have to be the mentally toughest because when you walk up to the plate, I don't care how loud the bank is. You're in your head. You're having thoughts. You're ready to roll. And if you're not ready to roll, like that's gonna do it. And Andrew, like you said, it's all speculation, but I think the proof is Harper had a lot going on. And I'm not mad he had a newborn or anything, but maybe plan that accordingly next time.
Well, and to your point too, like again, it's not a perfect example, but like just take football for example, right? You play that Sunday game or Saturday, depending on your playoff game, and guess what? After the game, you're going home. Win or lose, you're going home. If you win, you get a day, then you go back to practice. Like baseball wise, you're playing game one, you're turning around playing game two, then you travel. Now you're on the road for game three, and since they won, you're not traveling back home. You're staying out on the West Coast. So I mean, it's way different too in terms of all that too. It's not even like you can go home and enjoy it right after the game.
You
It's
don't get the break.
yeah, no,
Exactly.
you're just turning around and going right after it. So I think again, yeah, it was a lot of it. I think he definitely tried to do too much. Like meaning like he came up in big spots and he heard the pressure, right? I mean, I can't remember which analyst, but they even put him in the top 25 players that made the playoffs. I mean, he hears all that. He's talked about that before. He's made jokes about WIP and the Fanatic and stuff. Like he listens to that stuff, and I think it got all in his head, and he just tried to do too much in that postseason, and
And
it's a
and
shame.
another thing to add to that, like, and it's only going to get worse, but he's expected to bring a World Series in. And every year that doesn't happen, that's a chip. I don't even want to call it. I was gonna say a chip on his shoulder, but that is like a benefactor thing, right? Like, no, I would say it's kind of another straw on the camel's back. And which one
Yeah.
is it going to be the one that breaks it? How long is it before he just snaps from the pressure? I wouldn't be surprised if like in an alternate universe where he never wins a World Series in the next 5 years, like he just has like an Alec Bohm freak out moment on the field. Like I think that's very possible. Um,
I think when he has his freak out moments, he takes down the umps. That's when you see him get ejected from
yeah,
games.
but like that at least, you know what? That's a good point. He does
I'm
do that enough that that's him like kind of breaking character, but at least he's smart enough to target a person
yeah,
that the fans will get behind. You know what I mean? Like fans
exactly.
will absolutely cheer for
Like,
Harper
I'll
over
never
and
forget
over.
the one he got called for a check swing, and the third base umpire tossed him, runs down the line, argues, and then he starts walking back to the dugout. And he throws his helmet into the crowd.
Which really funny thing, maybe longtime baseball fans here will know, but I went down a rabbit hole during the NLDS and really truly realized that there's no actual definition for what a check swing is. Like it's completely up to the umpire's judgment, and that's wild to me. Like it could be based off of the wrist. The general rule of thumb is it's based off if the bat goes over home plate, but that's
Mm.
not actually like the rule. And it's a very
Yeah,
fascinating. It's a
that's why
very
it's very controversial.
fascinating situation.
Yeah, yeah, that's why it's very controversial, and it's only a matter of time now before they add that to the replay and stuff.
Real quick, while we're on umpires, Andrew, what's your feeling on the robot umps coming into play next year?
I mean, I'd hate it if they were actually go to true robot umpires. What they're bringing
Well,
in
that's what
next
I
year with
like
the
that.
ABS
I like that
system,
the ump is still like it's the robot ump is used for challenges, is what they're doing. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's
So yeah,
perfect, to be honest.
yeah. So the umpire is actually still making the call, and you get two challenges a game. I think that's the way you're doing it. Like that's a better way to do it than yeah, actually bringing in the initial what they talked about was just no umpire, just doing the robot umpires. It's been in the minor leagues for a little bit. I've actually been to a few minor league games, seen it in person, and to their credit on that front, I mean, it is very quick. It is a very quick system. You see the pitch come in. It's a quick tap on the head from the batter or the pitcher, and you see it pop up right on the jumbotron, and it's quick, shows the strike zone, and then it goes back. So, yeah, no, to their credit, it was very efficient in the minor leagues.
Did I? Yeah, yeah, I did. Okay. Well, that's I'm not editing, so this is live. Sorry. This is live, folks. Um, and so I had to miss some of that, so we're just gonna keep moving on. I guess Andrew, like we've kind of talked about this and that, these and those for this series. So I'm gonna throw it to you. Do you have any topics you want to discuss that we haven't talked about already? And I don't know, I know you're upset, but what's your actual like emotion right now regarding this team? And I'm not talking about losing the NLDS, but like I don't think you've actually talked about how you feel about the team. Like we've mentioned like bringing the core back or making changes, but like, what's your feelings on what's about to happen and what had happened?
Yeah, I'll stick with first what had happened. I think, unfortunately, again, you ran into a tough first round matchup. But with that being said, you can't use it as an excuse. Like you
100%.
had the, I mean, not had. If say you didn't face them, let's just say you faced, I don't know, let's just say you faced the Reds, right? The team the Dodgers beat. You would have had to go on, right, and face them, right? If you didn't have to face the Dodgers in the first round, you would have faced them in the NLCS.
Yep.
So you were going to face them regardless. With that being said, too, I think my emotion here was I think the core players have what it takes. I think it's a big off season for Dave Dombrowski. I think it's a big off season for Rob Thompson, especially now that Thompson already announced, they're bringing the coaching staff back, right? So I think that speaks volumes on what they're going to go do into next year. I think, listen, this group's been together for the last few years. You saw the emotion from the players after the loss. You don't know the fate of JT coming back next year. You don't know the fate of Schwarber.
Oh,
You don't.
I'm sorry. Can I jump in real quick? JT is like if anyone should be here to retire after this postseason, it should be JT. Like in my mind, JT was the person who stamped his like ticket to ride his career here. That postseason, and JT's been a phenomenal player here in general. Like, don't get me wrong, but like the postseason, fucking amazing.
No, he did. He stepped up big time. He was your only hitter that, and I kept saying over and over, and that was another thing I kept having issues with Thompson. And I said it on the last podcast too, was he was your best hitter in the playoffs. There's no question. There's no reason to keep Brandon Marsh at the 5 spot there. You had to move JT to the 5 spot, and sure enough, in Game 4, I mean, there was 3 times Brandon Marsh came up, and I was sitting there and saying it, watching the game, like if this is JT, you're scoring a run, you're getting 1 or 2 runs in here, and you just didn't. It was misplayed. It was misplayed with the lineup, and again, that's where I have issues with Rob is he didn't know how to make the adjustments in a series where we can sit here and blame, and obviously the players got to play too. And as much as I love that saying, but guess what? Coaches got to coach as well. So and you can use it both ways. And I
Yeah, I
think
mean, you said it earlier today, and it's been said all over the radio. But I mean, Thompson was outmanaged. Like he lost his battle against the Dodgers manager, whose name escapes me.
yeah, and my big thing is too, and I'm all for it because the players got to hit, but you look at what our top 4 did compared to their top 4. I mean, the Phillies pitching shut down Shohei Ohtani. The Phillies pitching shut down like the Phillies made their top of the order be almost just as bad as ours, and that's where then you got into a true pitching duel, and man, we didn't even mention it yet, but I felt so bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was mad screaming at the TV on that error that cost the season, but like I still feel bad for Kirk. I can't imagine what he's going through here. Like these, especially the first month after the season. Like I can't even imagine what he's going through. And I think it was just a true.
It was
I
just a
mean, he
mistake.
panicked. Yeah, he
It was a
panicked. I
mistake.
mean,
Like, and that's what
I,
like I don't blame him for losing the game. I think
no,
there's way too much that goes into a game. It's a what was it like double or triple overtime part at that point.
yeah,
Like way too much goes into a game to blame him. But I mean, you can't deny the fact that if he makes the play, The Phillies go up to bat next inning. Like, and
Oh,
that's
for sure.
that's what sucks. Like, do I blame him for the loss? No, but he could have saved the game. Is the best way to put
Correct.
it.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think yeah, it comes back to him. I think he panicked, meaning like he just forgot everything. I think he
Dude,
forgot the outs. I think
the picture of JT pointing
yeah.
and he's just ignore like, oh my god, that
Well,
picture
the
will
sad part
haunt
too.
me. Haunt me.
The sad part too is even if he just. I mean, obviously the play was at first, but even if he makes a good throw, there's a good chance you're still getting him out at the plate
Yeah,
because
I
it's the
mean
force out.
that's
So
what
like I
he had
saw
a
that
guarantee and he had a chance and he fucked up both.
I saw the pictures compared to equivalent to that was the Sixers moment when against the Hawks, Ben Simmons. I don't know if you saw the side by side, but it was the JT point to first with Ben Simmons passing up the dunk,
Yep.
and they're
And
just like,
Gargano has talked about that too, and I don't like want to harp on it too much, but I'll agree. The Phillies have become the new Sixers, and like the Sixers, I'm not even excited. The most exciting thing we haven't talked about the Sixers and their season has started. We haven't talked about the Fly. Like the most exciting thing about the Sixers, it's not even the black jerseys. It's that hip hop is back. Like that's what I like. The Sixers are at such a low right now, and to say the Phillies are the new Sixers hurts that it is so possibly correct. And
see, I don't know if I agree with that. Everyone's starting to do that. I don't necessarily agree with that yet. I mean, the Phillies
I
are
mean the Phillies are literally the Sixers 3 years
but
ago.
they aren't. The Sixers haven't made it past the second round in 20
The Phillies haven't made it past the first round in 2 years, and they haven't made it past the second round in
Two
3.
years, yeah, and they were in the World Series 3 years ago. The Sixers haven't been to the finals since 2001,
I
and
I, I
haven't been past
understand,
the
but
second round since 2001.
you
It's
can't make the
completely
World
different.
Series the standard.
No, it's not the standard, but if you're comparing two teams, they're not even close to each other.
Don't get me wrong, Phillies are for sure better. I'll for sure better,
And it's
but
also
I think their
and it's
regression
also
is similar.
and it's also to your point, like the Sixers are not even being talked about by a lot of people. The Phillies are
Not even
continuously
us.
talked. The Phillies are continuously being talked about. Like
All right. Let's. I don't want to get too into this. This will be a whole fight for another day. Andrew, was there anything else you wanted to? I don't think you said your thoughts on the future of this team specifically.
yeah, I think the future is. I mean, I mean we'll dive into the offseason obviously, but it's you have to fill in the holes that you potentially are losing in the sense of I mean my stance on it is you bring back JT, you bring back Schwarber. Um, just in terms of free agency, I mean I hope you bring back Bader. He did
Yeah.
everything you could ask for.
I
Kepler,
really. It's so funny. I really hope they bring back Bader.
no, I mean saying it's a mutual, it's a club, it's a um, the two-way option. So like both sides, if they agree, they can bring it. By my guess is Bader's going to try to test the market with the year he had.
Do you
But
Bader and Kepler could play left and center, correct? Like
yes,
I would
but
do everything I could to get Bader and Kepler and drop Marsh.
oh, let's see, I'm letting Kepler go. He was terrible this year.
But Kepler did better than Marsh, I think.
No, I mean for the playoffs, yeah, but not the season. March
Yeah.
killed him in the
Well,
season. Um,
whatever. Uh, I
but
am
I
out of
think,
summer love, so I think we should be wrapping this up.
but yeah, I mean, my final stance on it is you'll be right there for the division. You'll fight for the division again, and it's going to come down to what moves you make in the offseason if we feel different about this team going in. There's
I think the
plenty of
last
free
thing
agent.
I'll add to that is you can only be a regular season contender for so long before the fans are against you. And that's more of a warning than anything else.
Yeah, and they know that, and that's why I think there will be changes this offseason.
On the empty beer note, thank you everyone for listening to the Philly Sports Now, a Philly fan podcast. You can find us on social media. Links are in the description below and information as well. Thank you so much. We have new subscribers, so welcome. I'm sure you haven't watched it all the way through, but if you did, thank you so much. And as always, for the last time of this season, go Phils and good night.